Man, I don't care how rich or famous you get. When them flashing lights hit your rearview mirror at 130 miles per hour, everything changes. And that's exactly what happened to Houston rapper Sauce Walka. The TSF boss, known for his loud lifestyle, flashy chains, and drip energy, just took a serious legal hit. After a year-long battle, Sauce finally pleaded guilty to a high-speed chase that could have ended his career, and maybe even his freedom. But the real question is, what made Sauce Walka hit the gas that night? And how did it all spiral into the courtroom moment that's got the internet talking? Let's rewind this story a little bit. It's late December 2023, a cold night in North Houston. Police spot a white Corvette speeding through the area. No surprise, given that Sauce is known for his exotic car collection. But this time, things don't go as usual. According to court documents and police reports, when officers attempted to pull him over, Sauce decided he wasn't stopping. Instead, he floored it. Witnesses say the car tore down the highway like something out of a Fast and Furious movie, hitting speeds close to 130 miles per hour. Now, this ain't some random chase. This is Houston, Texas. The cops don't play about high-speed pursuits, especially when the driver is a celebrity with a record. After about 2 miles of pure chaos, Sauce lost control and crashed. Thankfully, nobody was seriously injured, but that moment sealed his fate. He was arrested and charged with evading arrest in a motor vehicle, a felony under Texas law. Now, if you know Sauce Walka, you know this man has always walked the line between fame and controversy. He's loud, he's confident, and he's never afraid to speak his mind, even if it lands him in hot water. But this time, the heat was real. We're talking felony charges, possible jail time, and a big question mark on what would happen to the Sauce Factory, his label, his artists, and his brand. In typical Sauce fashion, though, he tried to keep things cool. He posted online like nothing happened, flexing jewelry, teasing music, even talking about new money moves. But behind the scenes, lawyers were working overtime. For almost 2 years, Sauce Walka's case just sat there, quiet, no new updates, until October 2025, when everything changed. After months of speculation, Sauce Walka finally stood before the judge. Cameras caught glimpses of him walking into court, calm, collected, but clearly ready to get this over with. Fans didn't know what to expect. Would he beat the case? Would he do time? When the verdict came in, nobody saw it coming. So after months of silence, Sauce Walka finally walked into that courtroom. And man, the energy was heavy. Cameras flashing, fans outside yelling, "Free Sauce!" And inside, the judge ready to make an example out of him. This was the moment everyone had been waiting for, the final chapter of that high-speed chase case. On October 16th, 2025, Albert Mondane, the man the world knows as Sauce Walka, stood before a Houston judge and pleaded guilty to evading arrest in a motor vehicle. Now, on paper, that charge can carry up to 10 years behind bars. But Sauce's lawyers had been grinding behind the scenes, negotiating to keep their client out of prison, and somehow they pulled it off. The judge sentenced Sauce to 2 years deferred adjudication probation, 50 hours of community service, and a $500 fine. Basically, if he stays out of trouble for those 2 years, the case gets wiped from his record. Sounds like a light win, right? But here's where things get deeper. See, this wasn't just another rapper catching a minor case. This was a warning shot, not just from the law, but from life. Because when you're Sauce Walka, every move you make is under a microscope. For years, police and media have been watching his every step. He's built his empire, the Sauce Factory, from the streets of Houston into a full-on movement, one that celebrates independence, hustle, and loyalty. But it also brought controversy. Law enforcement has repeatedly labeled TSF as a documented gang. Sauce, of course, has denied it. He insists TSF is a record label, not a gang, a family of artists trying to make it out the mud. Still, that kind of reputation can weigh heavy in court. That's why this guilty plea was so significant. It gave him the chance to reset, to step back and maybe, just maybe, to change his trajectory. When news broke that Sauce had taken the plea deal, social media blew up. Twitter, or X, whatever we're calling it now, was split down the middle. Some fans were like, "At least he ain't in jail. Sauce too real to be locked up." While others said, "Bro, keep dodging bullets, literally and legally." Memes popped up instantly. people editing him into a Fast and Furious poster with the caption, "Too fast, too sauce." But underneath all that, there was a real question. Is this the wake-up call Sauce Walka needed? Because look, Sauce has always been about more than music. He's a walking brand: fashion, jewelry, cars, even real estate. In interviews, he said he wants to be remembered not just as a rapper, but as a mogul. And after that courtroom appearance, he told reporters something that got everybody talking. He said, "I'm stepping away from rap for a minute. I'm focused on business now. I done gave the streets enough music. It's time to build something bigger." That line hit hard. Coming from Sauce Walka, one of the loudest, flashiest personalities in hip-hop, it sounded like a man who's starting to think long-term, but not everybody bought it. Some fans think Sauce is just laying low until the legal smoke clears. Others believe he's genuinely maturing, tired of seeing his people locked up or buried, and honestly, both might be true. Because when you look at everything that's happened, from the Memphis shooting earlier this year to losing his artist Say So P to this guilty plea, you start to see a man realizing how thin the line is between success and self-destruction. The Houston scene's been buzzing ever since. Some folks are calling this a new era for Sauce Walka, one where he trades the flashy cars and chain-swinging videos for boardrooms, investments, and mentorship. Others think the game just isn't ready to see Sauce go quiet. After all, this is the same dude who helped pioneer the term drip way before mainstream rappers made it cool. So when Sauce says he's focusing on business, people listen, but they also wonder if the Sauce we know can ever really stop dripping. Because here's the truth. A guilty plea doesn't end a story. It starts a new one. Now the question is, what's next for Sauce Walka? Will probation tame the TSF boss? Or will the streets, when in the fame, pull him right back in? Let's talk about it. So, Sauce Walka walks out the courtroom a free man. No prison time, just probation, community service, and a small fine. But the big question now? What's next for the Houston Drip King? Because every time Sauce says he's about to slow down, somehow the headlines find him again. Right after that guilty plea, Sauce Walka did what he always does. He went online. Not to brag, not to flex, but to talk his talk. He posted clips of himself in designer clothes, surrounded by his crew saying they thought the sauce was over, but I'm still dripping, just on a different level now. And that's classic Sauce Walka energy, turning pressure into publicity. But this time his tone felt different. Less chaos, more reflection. In one live stream he said, "I'm learning from what happened. You can't keep testing the system. They looking for any reason to lock us up. I got too many people depending on me to be stupid." That's the part people didn't expect, a Sauce Walka who's actually self-aware. Let's be real, Sauce Walka has built his whole career off being loud. He is the energy of Houston hip-hop. The diamonds, the slang, the splash lifestyle, that's all him. He's one of the few artists who can make independent grind look glamorous. But with this guilty plea, the public image is changing. The flashy hustler who once went viral for clowning other rappers is now being looked at as a businessman, or at least, he's trying to be one. He's been investing quietly for the past year, buying real estate around Houston, opening a car customization business, and even putting money into his artists' ventures. He's not talking about ops anymore. He's talking about ownership, and that's a big pivot for someone who built his rep on being street authentic. Now let's talk about TSF, the Sauce Factory. That's Sauce Walka's label, the collective he built from scratch. It's home to artists like Peso Peso, Rizzo, Sancho Saucy, and more. For years, TSF has been a cornerstone of Houston's underground. They're loud, loyal, and unapologetic, but also controversial. Law enforcement has described TSF as a documented gang linked to criminal activity. Sauce has always denied that, saying, "TSF ain't no gang. It's a label. It's a lifestyle. We just flashy, that's all." But those allegations still hang over him. Every time something happens, whether it's an arrest, a raid, or a shooting, TSF's name gets pulled into it. That's why this guilty plea was so important. It wasn't just Sauce saving himself. It was him trying to protect the brand. Because if Sauce goes down, the whole TSF ship could sink. Now here's the interesting twist. While the internet was clowning Sauce for the chase, the business world started taking notice. He's got a loyal fan base, a recognized brand, and a story that screams redemption. Some insiders are even saying Sauce has been meeting with investors about expanding TSF into a legitimate entertainment company. Not just music, But fashion, podcasts, and online content, that move makes sense. He's been independent his whole career. No label advances, no middlemen. He sells merch, owns his masters, and moves like a boss. So shifting into full-on entrepreneurship, that might actually be the smartest thing he's ever done. Houston OGs and industry voices have mixed feelings. Some people are cheering for him, saying, Sauce Walka is finally growing up. This man could be the next Master P if he plays it right. Others are skeptical, saying, Sauce can't stay out the headlines. He's addicted to attention. This business talk ain't gonna last. And honestly, both takes make sense, because Sauce Walka's biggest strength, his personality, is also his biggest weakness. He's loud, unpredictable, and real. That's what fans love. But in business, those same traits can scare people off. If he wants to turn TSF into something serious, he's got to prove he can stay consistent, stay out of trouble, and keep the focus on growth, not drama. When you step back and look at the full picture, it's wild. Sauce Walka went from street rapper to trendsetter, from beefs to Bentley deals, and now he's facing the consequences of his own momentum. He's not the same guy who was picking fights on Instagram Live or calling out Drake for stealing his drip. This is a man who's seen real loss. His artist Sazo P killed earlier this year, a bullet wound of his own, and now a court case that almost put him away. All of that changes a person. It's like he's realizing that the real flex isn't the cars or the chains, it's freedom. So where does Sauce Walka go from here? If he stays focused, this probation period could be the clean slate he needs. If he slips up, though, even once, he could be facing years behind bars. Either way, the spotlight's not going anywhere. Because love him or hate him, Sauce Walka is one of the few rappers who truly built everything from nothing. Independent, unapologetic, and dripping till the end, and if his word is real, if he's truly done chasing clout and ready to chase business, then this guilty plea might actually be the start of his greatest comeback yet. So what do y'all think? Is Sauce Walka really turning his life around, or is this just another chapter in his never-ending drama? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you rock with the sauce, hit that like button so more people see this story. Because trust me, the next move from Sauce Walka could change everything. Walka could change everything.